In a thick forest, Draasa wakes up suddenly when she hears a plane arriving on runway. She quickly grabs her weapon and gets ready. When the plane lands and a man gets off, Draasa takes careful aim and kills him with a single shot. Then, the story shifts to a former Marine named Levi Kane wakes up from a bad dream. So he goes to the beach, hoping the sound of the waves will help him feel better. As the sun rises, his phone buzzes with an urgent message, telling him to return to the Marine Corps base. When Levi returns to the base, he meets Agent Bartholomew, who is mysterious and intriguing. She knows Levi is known for being an excellent sniper and living a lonely life without family or close friends. Because of this, Bartholomew thinks he is perfect for her interesting job offer. In Pavalka, Lithuania, Draasa visits her father Erikas at the cemetery on the anniversary of her mother's death. And Erikas looks very weak and tired because he recently found out that his cancer can't be treated. So he tells Draasa that if his illness doesn't take his life, he plans to end his own suffering because he wants to be with his beloved wife again. On Valentine's Day. In early September, Levi slowly wakes up from being knocked out by anesthesia, feeling confused and hearing the noise of a military plane. He asks the soldier nearby where they are, but she doesn't answer because of security rules. She takes away his personal items and tells him they are approaching a no-fly zone, so he has to jump out of the plane and continue on foot. Determined, Levi gets his gear ready and jumps out of the plane, feeling the wind rush past him as he times his parachute release. After landing smoothly, he prepares himself for a tough journey ahead, which involves climbing, hiking, and spending nights alone camping under the stars. Eventually, Levi reaches the edge of a huge gorge and meets a soldier named JD. He asked him where we are, but even though JD has been there for a year, he is still unsure about their exact location. They head to the West Tower, which is amazing because it runs on solar energy, has a backup generator, collects rainwater, has a thriving vegetable garden, and plenty of wild animals to hunt. On the other side of the gorge is the East Tower, but contact with that guard is forbidden. The gorge is a tough barrier, filled with landmines and defenses to the north and south, making it impossible to cross. As JD shows Levi around, he explains the details of their important mission. Every day, Levi goes on his regular patrol along the western edge. He carefully refills the ammunition in the automatic gun turrets that are set up every 600 meters. He also checks the containment fence, makes sure the mines are in place, and verifies that the cloakers are working. And cloakers are advanced devices that send out fake signals to hide the gorge from satellite surveillance. Although radio checks happen every 30 days, but there's no way to communicate with the outside world. During an emergency, Levi finds out that there's a scary panic button that activates a secret plan called the Stray Dog Protocol. JD, however, doesn't know the details about this protocol and strongly advises Levi to run if it's ever triggered. As they keep talking, JD shares the history of their mysterious location, revealing that it goes back to the Cold War era. Back then, military of different countries made a secret deal to keep the place hidden from the world, even from top government officials and leaders. And Levi's main job is to make sure that whatever is inside the gorge never gets out. Initially, the task seemed like an unbelievable story, and JD also thought it was unlikely. However, his doubt turned to fear after seeing the creepy creatures the guards call Hollow Men, whose scary screams echo through the gorge. JD tells a frightening story from the late 1940s, when 3 groups of soldiers on horseback went into the gorge to get rid of the dangerous creatures. None of the soldiers came back, which made the military decide to focus only on keeping the creatures contained. The next day, JD leaves the tower and hikes to the spot where he's supposed to be picked up. When he gets there, a helicopter hovers above and lowers a rope for him to climb up. As he gets near, a soldier asks him for his identity. JD gives the identity, but instead of a friendly response, he is betrayed with a single gunshot to the head. Then, his lifeless body is dropped into the mountains below. A month later, in October, Levi has settled into his boring daily routine. Every day, he walks around the perimeter, carefully maintaining the security systems and doing his scheduled radio check-ins. One afternoon, while working in the garden, Levi notices some movement from the East Tower. He runs back into the tower and grabs his binoculars and sees Draasa cutting wood. They make eye contact for a moment, but she quickly looks away, acting like she doesn't care about his presence. In November, Draasa feels lonely and bored on her birthday. Wanting to do something different, she fires a bullet into the air to get Levi's attention. She holds up a sign asking for his name. Levi is unsure at first, pointing out the rule that they're not supposed to talk, but Draasa doesn't care. With a playful smile, she tells him her name and says she'll do what she wants on her birthday. Levi finds her boldness funny and decides to join in. He writes his name, raises a glass, and toasts. Next, Draasa turns on the music and starts dancing. She signals for Levi to join her. He shyly admits that he's not a good dancer, but an amazing sniper. With a playful smile, Draasa aims and shoots his water bottle. Not wanting to be outdone, Levi quickly grabs his gun and shoots her bottle. While they're having fun with their playful challenge, Draasa notices something disturbing. She stops their game and signals Levi to look down the gorge wall. When he looked down, Levi sees creepy creatures climbing up his side of the gorge. Acting quickly, Levi shoots one of the monsters, making it fall onto a mine below. The explosion causes a chain reaction, destroying most of the climbers. However, a few creatures keep climbing, so Levi keeps shooting, while Draasa uses her machine gun to help him. Working together, they get rid of all the creatures in just a few minutes. Just when they think the danger is over, a horrible-looking monster climbs onto Draasa's balcony. She quickly shoots it several times and then kicks it hard, making it fall back down. Suddenly, more monsters start climbing up Draasa's side of the gorge. Both soldiers jump back into action, working together again to stop the relentless horde. When another creature sets off a mine, the explosion sends metal fragments flying, and a sharp piece hits Draasa in the shoulder. Even though she's in pain, she stays strong. Suddenly, the creatures attack both sides of the gorge at the same time, so Draasa and Levi quickly start firing their machine guns, creating a deadly barrier that kills most of the creatures. As morning breaks, Draasa takes care of her injuries. She smiles and tells Levi that this was her best birthday ever. After that, Levi goes down to the gorge to check and fix the damage, carefully replacing the mines. Suddenly, he notices something unexpected. A drone coming up from the gorge, quickly rising and disappearing into the sky. In December, Levi puts up a lot of lights around a tree in the forest, turning it into a makeshift Christmas tree with a sign for Draasa. From that moment, their bond grows as they start doing lots of activities together, like building snowmen, playing chess, and drumming on pots. In February, Levi sees Draasa crying in front of a family photo. Worried, he asks why she missed her patrol, and she tells him it's been a very emotional day. Wanting to be with her, Levi goes to the armory and builds a rope-throwing gun. In morning, he launches a rocket across the gorge, which lands perfectly in a tree. The rocket starts a small fire, but Draasa quickly puts it out. After extinguishing the fire, she ties the rope to the tree. She then rushes back to the tower and sees Levi signaling for a dinner invitation. Determined, Levi slides down the rope to cross the gorge, but gets stuck halfway. Luckily, his gloves help him get a good grip, and he manages to continue. When he reaches Draasa's tower, he gives her a bouquet of flowers, and during dinner, they talk about their experiences as mercenaries and the mental strain their work causes. The evening ends with a heartfelt dance, and they find comfort in each other's company. In the morning, Levi starts heading back to his tower by sliding down the rope. Suddenly, the hollow men appear on his side of the wall, and one of them sets off a mine. The explosion breaks the rope, making Levi fall in the gorge. He quickly opens his parachute to slow down his fall, while Draasa, seeing the chaos, rushes to get weapons and a parachute. She jumps into the gorge and, after falling for a while, lands in a river. The current traps her parachute against a rock, so she has to cut herself free. The strong current sweeps her downstream, slamming her into a rock and causing her to lose grip on her climbing device. Desperately, Draasa grabs onto some tree roots and pulls herself to land. Meanwhile, Levi is hanging unconscious from a tree tied to ropes. Just then, a branch starts to move, and it turns out to be a monster. As the monster gets closer, Levi wakes up and starts shooting while trying to free himself from the tree. His efforts cause him to fall to the ground, where he lands in mouth of another monster. Just when it seems hopeless, Draasa came and rushes to help. She shoots the monster, saving Levi just in time. After that, they begin their journey to find the rope. Suddenly, two hollow men appear riding horse-like creatures, tag Draasa and Levi with swords. One of them jumps off its horse and lunges at Draasa. She quickly stabs it in the neck with her knife and then shoots it in the face to kill it. Meanwhile, the other rider uses a whip to take Levi's gun, so Levi pulls out his handgun and skillfully kills both the creature and its horse in seconds. Later, Draasa looks through her bag and realizes that the auto-ascender was lost in the river, so they are stuck. Draasa suggests they follow the river, thinking it will eventually lead them out, but before leaving, Levi takes a closer look at the creature and finds pieces of an old military uniform. He realizes the truth. The hollow men are actually the missing horseback soldiers from the old story. With this shocking discovery, they keep moving through the forest, where they see the bones of people who tried to escape before them. Eventually, Levi and Draasa come across an abandoned town where the buildings are covered in mutated plants, and the ground is damaged by earthquakes. They hear the scary sounds of approaching monsters and quickly hide inside an old, run-down church. Inside, they see skeletons in the pews, and the smell of cyanide suggests that these people died by poisoning themselves. While they are reflecting on this sad scene, they hear a noise from above. Draasa looks up just in time to see a huge spider jumping at her. She quickly pushes it away but falls to the ground, where another spider is coming towards her. Draasa stabs it. Two more spiders jump at Levi. He quickly shoots them accurately. In no time, they are surrounded by a swarm of spiders. Forcing both of them into a tough fight, they try to run to the door, but their escape is blocked when hollow men burst in, making them fight both threats at once. Draasa grabs a nearby creature, slams its head onto a table, and tosses it aside, where the spiders swarm over it. And Levi fights several creatures up close, and after a fierce struggle, he manages to shoot them down. Then Draasa throws a grenade at the back wall, making a big hole for them to escape. She and Levi run through the forest, since they feel unsafe in the open, so they stay close to the wall for safety. And by the wall, they find an old door and go inside, discovering a building overgrown with plants. As they go deeper inside, they find a military lab with skeletons and a generator that Draasa manages to get working. Among the debris, Levi finds a tape, and they play it on an old projector. The film shows a scientist explaining that it is 1946, and that this secretive community was created by several nations working together. During the end of World War II, the scientists working hard to develop biochemical missiles. But 6 days before the film was recorded, a terrible earthquake caused a chemical leak. The researchers immediately worked non-stop to contain the spread of the toxin. Despite their efforts, the chemical mixed with the DNA of local plants and animals, causing horrific mutations. At first, exposure to the toxin seemed harmless, but prolonged contact started affecting the scientists themselves. The woman on the screen showed the tree branches on her stomach. After watching the film, they go to another room where they find a computer from the late 2000s, showing that researchers kept working there long after the initial incident. When Levi turned on the computer, they learn that the facility is run by Darklake, a private paramilitary company. The drone they saw earlier was collecting samples for Darklake's experiments to create super soldiers. To their shock, Levi finds information about the Stray Dog Protocol, a plan involving a nuclear bomb to destroy the entire area. As Levi and Draasa get ready to leave the facility, Levi tells her that the mission was worth it because he met her. Then they open the door and throw a smoke grenade to cover their escape. But a hollow man's whip grabs Draasa's ankle and pulls her away. Returning to save her, Levi follows the trail left by the rider and eventually finds a hidden facility with the nuclear bomb. Inside the facility, the hollow man has tied up Draasa and is torturing her. Draasa gathers her strength, kicks him in the chest, and breaks free from the ropes. Then she quickly grabs a piece of metal to defend herself. Despite the hollow man's superior strength and a snake emerging from his chest to attack her, Draasa fights fiercely. She manages to cut off the snake's head and throws the metal at the hollow man, which makes him angry. He chases her around the room, slashing with his sword. Draasa grabs bones to use as a makeshift shield, and makes a torch from a fire, using it to set the hollow man on fire. His agonized screams filled the air just as Levi arrived, shooting the creature to finish it off. Levi and Draasa hug each other, feeling relieved to be together again. After that, Levi looks at the fallen hollow man and is shocked to see that the name on its uniform belongs to the first guard who used to work at his tower. Levi takes the creature's sword as a grim reminder, and they continue their journey and reach the place where the original chemical leak had them. The area is full of ugly mutated creatures stuck in the thick dew created by the toxin. As Draasa and Levi carefully cross the bridge, Draasa accidentally steps on a root. The bodies trapped in it start to fall and reach out to grab her. Levi quickly uses the sword to cut the roots and free her. However, their actions wake up bigger creatures, which roar as they get up. Levi cuts a path through the ugly horde, but a sticky whip grabs his ankle, making him fall. Thinking fast, Draasa throws a grenade behind them, causing a huge explosion. The flames quickly burn the goo structure and set the creatures on fire. They run towards the stairs and finally get out to safety. Afterward, they search the town and find military jeeps hidden in a garage. They quickly fix one of the engines and drive off in a jeep, traveling for hours until they reach the broken rope. Levi attaches the rope to the jeep while Draasa uses her gun to fight off approaching hollow men. With the jeep ready, they start climbing up the wall. At first, the climb goes well, but they soon see the hollow men climbing after them, and Levi ticks one off and uses the sword to fight the others. Draasa takes a axe from the toolbox and fights the creatures with him. Suddenly, a hollow man leaps at Levi, knocking him toward the edge. He barely grabs onto the jeep in time. Thinking fast, who stabs the jeep's gas tank and climbs back up, lighting a flare and throwing it at the creatures. The propane explosion creates a massive fireball, burning their enemies but also blowing up the jeep. The blast throws Levi against the wall, breaking his leg, and Draasa rushes to help him. Realizing they're near the top, they cut the rope, causing the burning jeep to fall on the remaining hollow men. After climbing the last part of the wall and getting back to Draasa's tower, they start taking care of their injuries. Afterward, they decide to stay quarantined for 5 days to avoid any possible infection. During their talks, they come up with a bold plan to destroy the Gorge and escape together. The next day, with determination and love, he uses a grappling gun to get back to his own tower. And during the radio check-in, Levi's call is intercepted by Bartholomew, who has found out that the lab computer was turned on. When Levi denies going into the Gorge, Bartholomew concludes that the person in the other tower must have done it, and gives Levi a new mission: to eliminate it. Levi pretends to agree before the call ends. Without Levi knowing, the lab computer's hidden camera had recorded footage of both soldiers in the Gorge. With this evidence, Bartholomew contacts a commander and tells him to get a team ready to visit the area. The next morning, Levi and Draasa are getting mines ready for their plan, and Draasa writes "I love you" back to Levi, and they share a moment of perfection. Suddenly, they see a helicopter coming and quickly run into the forest. When the soldiers find the empty towers, they send out drones to chase them. The drones start shooting, but Levi and Draasa skillfully fight back, taking down the drones one by one. Once they reach a good spot, they use their sniper skills to target the cloakers, and the mines they planted earlier set off a huge explosion, wiping out all the cloakers. Since the Gorge is exposed, the stray dog protocol is started. Bartholomew and her team rush to the helicopter to escape, while Draasa and Levi run for their lives. The nuclear bomb explodes, causing a massive explosion that brings the helicopter down, killing everyone on board, and Levi is also hit by the explosion and falls off a cliff into a river. Draasa escapes and hides in a cave, anxiously waiting for Levi. After a month with no word from Levi, she decides to move on and ends up working as a waitress in France. One day, she is shocked to see Levi sitting at a table. He explains that it took him a while to recover from his injuries, and they share a heartfelt reunion with a kiss.